How's this for framing? This is called Newt's tired and sitting down on the steps to go up to the second floor of his apartment to do a Deadpool review. All right, so it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I worked all day and then met my friends Melissa, Jay, and Brian tonight at the theater to see Wolverine and Deadpool for a midnight screening. It was busy, like super super busy for a midnight show, and I got done today around like 6 o'clock. But they were like, "Oh, it's all the shows are sold out until like 11:30 at night." So we went to a later one, and it was crowded, man. So it's good. And then we get out of the movie, and I wanted to sit and talk to them about the movie a little bit more, but my car was on E. So then I drove around for 15 minutes trying to find a gas station at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I just got home, and I was like, I gotta shoot something because this is a popular movie. Um, and you gotta chase that algorithm, smash that bell. But I was like, I'm tired. I'm gonna sit down on the steps and shoot a really poorly framed video on my phone. So I've never been a Deadpool fan. I've never particularly liked the comics. I know the lore, but I was always pleasantly surprised with the films. I liked the first one a lot more than the second one. Um, and I think everybody was kind of anxiously anticipating what Disney was going to do with this third one. There's that dude on Instagram that tells me constantly that everything is woke and that this is going to be the worst movie ever, and Disney's ruined Deadpool and it's going to be really PG. And but he's just also the same dude who tells me that Godzilla having pink energy blasts is because they're trying to tell us that Godzilla's trans now. So yeah, it's like that Cassandra Nova's the villain in this movie, and Cassandra Nova's from the comics. And he's like, "Oh, they made Professor X a girl, fucking Disney, the woke shit." And I was just like, "You don't even read. You don't have to read the comics. Just Wikipedia that, you dumb fucking cunt." But yeah, so your mileage of this movie is very much going to be how much you can stand of in jokes and callbacks and cameos and stuff like that. And I've already seen a lot of people who are just like, the Ryan Reynolds shtick is old and I'm done with it. No, it's this in joke and this cameo and reference and stuff like that. Yes, there's a lot of that in it, but I thought it was very sharp. This movie is more a love letter to 20th Century Fox and that era of early 2000s movies, um, than it is because it's an indictment of Disney as well. You know, you when Wolverine is kind of in the mix of things, they're like, "Hey, you're joining us at a really down time," you know, and when Deadpool finds out that he's, you know, that they want him to join the Marvel universe, and he fucking headbutts the camera, and he's like, "Fuck you, Fox! I'm going to Disneyland." Um, it's very funny. They didn't skimp on the gore. They didn't skimp on the language. It's very vulgar. Um, so it is on brand with the other two, while still taking its shots at Disney and at this current slate, and the overuse of the multiverse stuff now too is pretty funny. They talk about Wizard of Oz, and they're like, the gays knew it, and we just didn't listen. Um, it's a very very funny movie. Like we laughed out loud several times, and there's some big audience cheer moments as well. The second half of the cameos that come in are characters that, people spoiled it for me already. But one in particular got a big fucking cheer from our audience, and like I said, we had a packed house. Um, you know, the main engine of the movie is essentially the repercussions of the post credit scene of the second movie. And the Wade's messing with the timeline, alerts the time cops or whatever they were called from the Loki series. His universe is dying. You know, and the only thing, the load bearer of that universe is Logan, and Logan died in Logan. And they do a good job of not undermining the impact of that movie and the emotional weight of that movie. They still make a joke out of it, but they don't. It's not that Logan that we meet. And jumping around and meeting the other ones, you know, it's cool to see the God Saves Man Kills and Days of Future Past, and you know the yellow and brown suit, and the, you know, and Patch in the comic as well, from the comics as well, like all those characters I grew up with. It's cool to see them in the movie. You know, it's cool to see you know, him without his hand and the fucking crazy hair, and him up on the X cross and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, Patch, I grew up with the Marvel cards. And I was just loved. And there's a comic book accurate one too where he's really little. You know, it was really cool to see that stuff. It was really cool to see him in the yellow costume. It was really cool to see him in the mask. You know, and yeah, it's all nerdy little callbacks and member berries and you know, and fan service. This is fan service, the movie, but it worked for me. You know, it's not as strong as the first one. You know, the like Vanessa is a cameo in this movie. Same thing with Juggernaut and Negasonic Teenage Warhead and all those characters. Shatterstar they brought back, which I thought was kind of funny. Love the Mojo verse. You know, those characters are very much take a back seat in this one to the you know, the Wade and Logan storyline, which is the strongest thing in the movie. They have fantastic chemistry together. The car fight scene is fantastic. But it does, there is the engine that is being pulled by the nostalgia and the callbacks and all that kind of stuff, and the fan service is being pulled by an emotional weight. Hugh Jackman is giving a performance in this, and I appreciated that. You know, I'm not going to go spoiling anything. There's some fantastic cameos. There's some great Hollywood in jokes, you know, and then everybody was with us tonight. We all done film stuff, and there's some great like film inside baseball gags in this. But really, this is a movie that Disney needed. Disney needs this movie. You know, Disney needs a hit like a crackhead needs a hit when it comes to Marvel of late. And I think this will go towards showing that like you could do R-rated stuff. You can do more adult stuff. It's not everything needs to be so safe and so you know, so clicking all the boxes of all the, you know, everything is. And they do a good job with that in this one. You know, Cassandra Nova I think is an interesting villain. I think she's kind of underplayed, but that's kind of the problem with every Marvel villain anymore is you know, is they get the short end of the stick. But the stuff between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman is the strongest stuff in this movie. Some great needle drops for songs, especially the In Sync "Bye Bye Bye" in the opening sequence is really really good and kind of gets you into the movie. And it's cool to see some of these actors coming back and playing these parts again. You know, and getting their send off. You know, because Fox did a lot of these characters dirty. Fox did, you know, the Fantastic Four dirty and Elektra dirty and Blade dirty and all these kind of things. So it's cool to see, and then some series that never got off the ground that are represented in this movie too, that lead to some great jokes. You know, it's cool to see them that, you know, they were given a chance to kind of get a fair send off. With this movie, and even the post credit sequence is a little montage of the Fox movie, so I thought that was kind of cool. And you know, and some great jokes about, you know, there'll never be another version of this character. It's like, well, yes, there will be. You know, or Henry Cavill popping up as Wolverine in one of the variants, and them saying like, we'll treat you so much better than those guys up the street, meaning DC Comics. That's not really a spoiler. I think they spoiled that already. I'm not gonna spoil the other ones though. My rambling, I'm fucking tired. This was fun. I got a really good laugh out of this one. There's some really good gore in this movie and some action. It's not going to be up there at the levels of of like the end games and stuff like that. But I think as a nice little standalone movie to kind of show people that Marvel can be edgy again or anything like that. And maybe it'll shut the Instagram guy up like, oh, Captain America's black now. Again, read a fucking comic book, man. Like, shut the fuck up. Do your research first. So I dread opening up my Instagram anymore because I'm just like, oh fuck, what's he gonna say now? You know. Um yeah, so that's it. That's Wolverine and Deadpool. If you're one of those people who's like, oh my god, it's just fan service and member berries, you're probably not gonna like it very much. But if you grew up like me, not growing up, I was in my 20s when all the Fox movies were coming out, like the first, the Jessica Alba, Fantastic Four and Ben Affleck's Daredevil and X-Men '99. You're gonna dig this one. And it's cool to see him in the costume. In the costume, there's a reason for it too, which I thought was nice. And when he finally puts the mask on, everybody in our audience fucking went crazy. So, yeah, your mileage out of this is gonna vary based on like what you're looking for in the movie. And if you're just looking to kind of see the celebration of these Marvel misfires and how they can work into the main universe with something that's a bit more, a bit more R-rated, a bit more adult. There were no kids in our audience, which I appreciated, because usually, like at midnight for something like this for an R-rated movie, you never know what you're gonna get. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was fine. I thought it was not fine. I liked it more than fine. Definitely not the strongest of the three, but if you're gonna bring back Logan, I think they handled it in a very in a proper way, and it was cool to see him going full berserker in the costume and in the mask and all that kind of stuff. And it was funny. It was well written, and at no point did it feel like mumble comedy. Like a lot of these movies tend to do, and if you're inside baseball when it comes to like the Marvel stuff and the Fox stuff, you'll get a little bit more out of this one because there is some deep cut jokes in it. So yeah, that's Wolverine Deadpool, and it is gonna make a ton of money this weekend. So hopefully they'll get a proper Blade off the ground and do it a proper R-rated, and if they're not gonna do that, then do a Midnight Suns movie. Give me a Midnight Suns movie, and let's get Ghost Rider and Man Thing and Doctor Strange and Blade and all those guys together. That'd be fucking cool. Unless it's all woke. It's all woke and Godzilla's trans. And there's a girl Professor X now. Fucking hate the internet.